The Armed Forces Covenant is a promise by the nation ensuring that those who serve or served in the armed forces and their families are treated fairly. National award-winning Clever Student Let's takes its responsibility to the Armed Forces Covenant very seriously, and the majority of its maintenance team are Armed Forces veterans and have brought a military precision to its $1 million a year maintenance operations.
It's a passion with us. I have felt for many years people in the armed forces have been vastly undervalued, and the care and attention levelled at them from government down has been less than acceptable.
After 10 years in the Navy, when I first came out, I found it very difficult. When you're in the services, you have a role, you're given a job and you get that job done. They never move goalposts. Your position within that role is very clear and concise. When you come out, it's not the case. People move goalposts, and there's very grey areas in what your roles tend to be in civilian life.
I was in tanks. I was in the cavalry regiment, Royal Scots Dragoon Guards. I'm a property inspector. We go around checking out the properties that students live in, making sure they're clean and tidy for them to live in, and then doing maintenance checks. Started off as the boy at the back of the office on a computer, not really knowing what he was doing, having never worked in an office before. Went on to set up this department as the manager with a role to improving the way in which we can serve our customers. I've stood away from that and the new managers come in, and I now inspect the properties. If I say I'm going to do something, it gets done. If I say I'm going to speak to somebody, I will speak to them. There's an old saying in the mob, keep it simple, stupid. I can very simply come up with a plan, put that plan into place, and then operate on that plan. That comes from the armed forces. And then the will to get the job done. There's nobody like an ex-forces guy that will do that. And the reason being, when you're in the mob, if you don't get the job done, you get into an awful lot of trouble. You've got to get that job done.
I'm a bit different than Bill and Stuart in that I came out straight from one uniform to another. I went straight into the security industry and I stayed there for 20 years. And then it was only when I was a coach in a team, and Stuart, my colleague here, his son played for him. I got talking to him and he invited me to come here.
Huge cultural change when you come out from a disciplined type of living environment, whether it's institutionalised or any other word for it, and then you come into the great open world. It's a bit like students. They're in the school, and then all of a sudden they get let loose, they come into university, and it's like a free-for-all for the first year or two, and it's such a cultural shock. It really is.
People who have come out of the armed forces have learnt how to work in a certain way, particularly to work within guidelines, and that is invaluable. Secondly, what we see is the loyalty. That's virtually irreplaceable.
The fact that we had 3 or 4 ex-serving members running this maintenance department, which was a brand new concept, no other agency had ever done this at this time, that really drove it forward and was of benefit to Clever Student Let's.
Really, I've had an easier path, I would say, because I've just done the same job for almost the whole time. I've helped streamline some of the inspection processes and found new software for them to use that's made things a lot quicker and easier for us to work with.
It's like anything that you do, whether in the forces or out of the forces, you have to work through it. You know, pick it into bite-sized pieces and go through it. I wouldn't like to say whether I coped well with it. I certainly did a lot of jobs in the early years.
Yeah, we get a great feeling out of employing people from the armed forces. They motivate an awful lot of our staff. I was in this morning at about 7:30, because I like starting earlier, and one of the guys in maintenance beats me every morning, and it really annoys me. He's not paid to come in at that time of the morning. He cares about what he's doing. He's really, he's a credit to the whole company.
Show your support for the armed forces and sign up to the Charter.